Hi, I wanted to chat to you about stepping out of your comfort zone because I set the challenge that anyone who wants to can join me on the 15th of August with a new daily series of videos. I'll set the theme, I'll set the topic, you'll have those in advance, and you can even go live. You don't have to do what I do, which is edit them and subtitle them, which does take more time. So it's a 5 minute a day challenge that creates some interaction, raises your profile, and a lot of people feel very uncomfortable with doing video. Mostly it's about stepping outside of your comfort zone. So I thought I would talk about exactly that. How do you step outside your comfort zone? If you wanted to take part in this video challenge on the 15th, but feel like that's too much for me, let's work through how you can control that a little bit to decide what is within your comfort zone and what is outside of it. So kind of think of this a bit like a circle. Within my comfort zone is my home, my animals, my family, and outside of my comfort zone, and I still feel uncomfortable with it, is airports and travel and booking and making holidays and all that sort of thing. And then you have to go, well, what is behind the things that make me feel anxious or afraid in those situations? So for example, me with airports, it's the road system up to the airports never feels that clearly defined where you're going to park, so that's the fear of getting in the wrong lane and frustrating other drivers, the fear of getting there on time. I actually find airport security, with all the bags and all the fuss and all the dump everything and the hustle to get through it quickly, I find that quite intimidating. My anxiety can, like, literally my heart can be pumping at that point. And I know that once I get over that whole process, and then you're walking through that duty-free area, I feel it drop and drop and drop. And before I go anywhere, I'm aware of all these little stories playing in my head. We never look at the best case scenario. We never kind of imagine driving to the airport, we find the parking, there's no issue. We walk through security, they're all happy, smiley people and they love you. We think of worst case scenarios. So whatever it is that's outside of your comfort zone, what is it that you're fearing? What would be the opposite? What would happen if the opposite were true, if it was all the positive things we could think about that situation? Another example would be me staying in a marriage that I was very unhappy in, because my fear was being a single parent and having no money and being alone for the rest of my life, and therefore lonely when that decision was forced upon me. The complete opposite was true. So all the things that kept me in a marriage for 8 years more than I should have been in it now feel silly, and wasted 8 years of my life. A lot of things, as I always say to you, are baby steps. So for example, if your fear is meeting new people, strange situations, going to a conference and you walk in the door and you're not going to know anybody there, and you've got your little name tag, and then you have to make light conversation with people, that's a fearful situation for a lot of us. And it's baby steps. So you just say hi to people, and you just have little topics in your own head that you can ask people. And if you start to feel uncomfortable, one way we can teach ourselves to keep out of our comfort zone is just extend that conversation a little bit into discomfort. So if normally you're okay chatting to complete strangers for 3 minutes and then you run out of things to say, or you feel like the whole situation's a bit false and a bit stiff, try chatting to them for 5 minutes. So you work through that discomfort a little bit. So you start to extend and extend and extend until you're at a point where you can meet people at conferences and end up going out for a riotous dinner with them. Baby steps will get you there. Failure is a teacher. A lot of us don't like stepping outside our comfort zones because we're worried we will fail, and we've built up all these fears in our head about what that would look like and why that's a panicky situation. But I remember in my early 20s in a new job, I was asked to do a presentation, and I'd done them before. So to me, that wasn't an issue, and I got the presentation together and stood up in front of not that many people, and I bumbled and I mumbled and I stuttered and I rushed all the way through it. And I felt embarrassed and humiliated and ashamed, and felt like I'd let my new boss down, and was worried about what they were thinking of me, because I'd only been there maybe a week. And the one thing I determined in my head when I kind of, got home that evening and had finished beating myself up for my disaster was that is never going to happen to me again. And how am I going to ensure that never happens to me again at the beginning of a career where giving presentations is going to be part of the process to get promotions and become higher level management? It's not to avoid presentations, it's to make sure you smash every single one from then on. And I've never done a bum presentation since, and that was 28 years ago. So think of failure and embarrassment and overwhelm as actually a good teacher. It sets a new challenge. Benefits. This kind of goes in with what I've just said. So what are the benefits of stepping outside your comfort zone? If I had decided that presentations weren't for me and I was never going to do one again, I wouldn't have had the benefit of a good management career and promotions, because it was part of the deal. So what are the benefits to you actually being able to go, I am going to conquer this fear in baby steps? Why do I need to do it? So the benefit to you has to be good enough, has to be something tangible to you that you actually do want to achieve. Okay, so that's just a few little tips in the hopes that some of you might grab onto your innards and join me.